Welcome to today's Seidokan Saturday. Next bunkai for Pinan Godan. And again, just a note, and I keep having to clarify this, and if you watched all the videos, I wouldn't have to re-say it, but I'll re-say it because some people jump in the middle. A technique as we do it is a snapshot. It's not a be-all and end-all and a complete self-contained thing. You have to, at some point, take these techniques and put them under pressure testing, and at a certain point, under pressure testing, you will find that certain elements are not going to work, like the story I told of my student who had done one of the overhead club techniques that I taught, starting with the cross block, and it actually worked for him and saved his life in real life, but the elbow didn't break. Okay. Or I start doing the technique and the guy pulls away, and so let's say, for example, welcome Max, new Shodan, just promoted to black belt last week. Yay! Yay. If I'm doing a wrist lock and I have him and he's sweaty and he pulls out and I keep going, oh, I didn't get the wrist lock, I'm walking right into his headbutt, kicks, punches, all sorts of things. So at a certain point, you have to know when to abandon a technique. So there's a difference between a technique taught for drill, to learn concepts of movement, to learn target hitting, those kinds of things. So even in bunkai, which are part of kata, and therefore we presume and hope that they're going to be viable self-defense alternatives, at the same time, not everything's going to work for everybody the same way all the time, and situations vary. What I'm doing today for a club attack overhead might be I take him into a choke and cross-choke him, jujuke, in another instance. So everything has variability to it, okay? So our next technique in the kata, we've just, if I'm performing the kata in this direction, and we've gone through, and we've come to here last week, the next technique is a back fist, elbow, which then goes into cross, step out, and a low cross block on my knee. In Shodan, for instance, once we get to this position, there's a very definite lift here. That has to do with how the throw is performed. And in judo, there's a lot of emphasis placed on setting up throws. All of the bunkai techniques also require sometimes some sort of setup, imbalancing, an irimi, an entry, a kozushi, an imbalancing, and then the throw, hit, strike, dispatch, whatever you're going to do at that point. The kata doesn't always give us all of the imbalancing and the other little things that we might need to do, like a short kick or a punch or a spit to his face or a throw in sand or other things that then put me in position to do the actual technique. So the technique is one piece of a jigsaw puzzle, which then you augment into reality, kumite, randori, rolling, whatever situation, sparring, however you're going to put that into your repertoire of techniques. All right? So we're going to start, Max, again, standard karate punch. Again, real life, it's here. The guy's squared up and pushes you, and he goes to make his swing. There's my back fist. My back fist, in this case, became a block. If he swings at my head, my back fist, in this case, becomes a block and a strike. So taking a preemptive measure, so to speak. Let's give a little space here. Okay, so as he comes in with his standard karate front punch, I step across outside of this. Now, if he's throwing, again, that hook punch kind of a deal, as I step, I have to be aware that I'm not going to get clocked in the back of the head. I may have to come in a little bit deeper and actually hit him with my forearm here across his neck, or even my elbow, cutting it short without coming all the way to the back fist. And extending the back fist is just a way of coming over where I can then come in with the elbow strike. Okay? So the first half of this technique, hey, striking, wrap, elbow, just like in the kata. Let's go this way. Now, the next technique, and these can be either chained together or done separately from a grappling start for the second half of the technique. But since I'm already here in the elbow, I'm going to go ahead and go into the grapple situation. Okay, so again, he punches, hey, horse stance, elbowing. The horse stance is important, again, because if he falls and comes to my waist and starts to take down, I need to be in that. If I'm just standing up, easy for my knees to get broken by him accidentally just falling on me or losing my balance. So getting the horse is important. As I've elbowed here, okay, Now the next part can be a double strike, elbow, bam, and just hit him. Or what I prefer to do is come into the grab. As I grab, I'm pulling to start the turn. I'm going to start him moving in this direction. Okay? So I've elbowed, I can hit or just come right to the grab, both okay. I have this thumb, which I like to use on the side of his neck here, which starts in moving that way. So as long as I have a grip on his gi and I put my thumb in his neck or up behind his ear, I can help start moving him this way. The lift, if we're in judo position, a lot of times you'll lift in order to get the guy to drop his elbow. Or I'll pull down in order to get the guy to lift his elbow. So there are those little setup things. As I said in the Shodan version, there's very much a lift so that he wants to pull down and away, which then facilitates me starting to move him. Okay? Hey, back fist, elbow, strike and or grab or both. Start him moving this way. Use what you need to. I step, then I turn him. I'm going to actually turn him further than this, but for camera's sake, I still have his sleeve here. I'm dropping down to this knee. I'm driving his arm across his body so I get his back toward me. Then, boom, this punch to the head as many times as I feel are needed. Okay, so we'll do this from this side. Let's see. Yeah, because I'm going to turn. This time I'm going to do the entire turn at the, 135 degrees? 135 degrees. So I strike, elbow, grab, start him moving this way, turning him. Come back this way. Drive this across, put my knee in his kidney, bang, bang, bam. Punch until I'm done. Now again, that second part can be done right here from kumikata, right? Where I just step in and start the drive this way, and then I would step and finish. Or we can connect it to this technique as well. Both okay. Okay. Arigatou gozaimasu. That's our technique for today. Now, in judo, typically, instead of pulling him around, I would step back into him, replacing his center of gravity. That can be done as well on this technique. I'm just trying to do it within the format of exactly how the kata shows it to us. But from here, I could just as easily unwind back into him and then still go into the same position. So adapting to the situation. The kata gives us the template. We provide through trial, error, heat testing, grappling testing, we provide the context to put it into position or into actual usage. Thank you for joining. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Gotten some interesting ones lately. Always fun. Thank you. And until next week, as always, let's keep practicing.